What's going on, fellow Maplers? Chaos Vellum, the most challenging of the 4 Brood Abyss bosses, is really not all that bad when you know what to focus on. This video will show you exactly what you should be focusing on in order to clear Vellum sooner on new characters. Let's start out with the requirements. The base requirements are level 180 and have completed the Brood Abyss questline, started by accepting Brood Abyss and Urgent Summons, which only takes about 5 minutes, and now has no kill clear requirements for Chaos Mode. Since damage is based on too many variables, I would recommend benchmarking against other bosses in the boss UI to see if you're ready. As a general rule of thumb, you should be comfortably clearing the prior tier of bosses in order to struggle through the next tier. In this case, if you can clear 3-door CRA, you are likely ready to struggle through Chaos Vellum. If you need further direction, I recently made a guided progression series with a specific video focused on targeted progression to clear Chaos Zachem through Chaos Vellum that will appear on the end screen and in the description. With all that out of the way, let's start with the boss mechanics. Start the boss by entering the first portal from the right and clearing the subsequent room of imps to begin. In the following room, you'll want to click the altar to spawn Vellum. Similar to other CRA bosses, this fight will have multiple phases based on % HP, which will work in additional mechanics to avoid as we go. The fight is pretty straightforward all the way through, but is a more challenging variant of bosses you have faced until now. I cannot stress this enough. For this fight, ignore everything happening on screen and watch your feet and maybe a few inches of the screen to the left and right of your character. Almost every single mechanic is choreographed by highlighted areas shown on the floor. If you watch the floor, you can dodge them all by just knowing which ones to prioritize avoiding and how to properly respond to the more lethal attacks. Also, one other tip: less is more. Do not be an idiot jumping around the screen without purpose. Simply walk and do more precise movements to move between safe spots while damaging during open opportunities. Survival is always your #1 priority. Keeping that in mind, the first phase starts out with all the important mechanics you will need to avoid. The first is Vellum's movement. Being the big ol' snack that he is, Vellum will be slithering around underground and pop out when you are near his location. It will always move towards you. When you get near it, it will pop out facing the direction he was traveling to get to you. When he is about to pop out of the ground, a medium-sized circle will appear for a couple of seconds, signaling his attack. Jump beyond this circle to land behind Vellum, or wait for it to pop out of the ground, then jump behind it. Standing behind Vellum will avoid any of his directional attacks. Keep in mind that if you are too close to the circle when he pops out, it will kill you in most cases. So now that you know how to keep an eye on Vellum, there are 2 main mechanics that will result in your death during this phase and throughout the fight. The first is when Vellum is out of the ground, additional medium-sized circles will start to appear underneath you. These will spawn spikes after a couple seconds, which will kill you. Just walk slightly away and don't overcommit to attacks that will have you stuck in animations for too long. Again, prioritize avoiding his attacks. To make this a little more challenging, small black circles will appear indicating points where stalagmites will drop on you. If hit, these will stun you and likely result in one of the other many mechanics killing you. Remember the locations they mark and stand between them while avoiding Vellum and his spikes. Honestly, these are the only mechanics you need to know to clear the fight outside of the final phase, but I'll cover the other ones real quick just so you're aware of them. In the first phase, Vellum will alternate between popping out briefly and popping out to shoot a few fireballs that instant kill you if hit. No need to worry about these if you are behind him. In the second phase, Vellum will go underground and a massive circle may appear on the floor. Just stand outside the range of this to avoid an instant kill attack. Additionally, at 60% HP, Vellum will also pop out of the ground and sometimes enter a mode where he spawns lightning attacks. Tiny circles will appear which clutter the screen with lightning bolts and will strike those areas, dealing some damage. You can ignore these for the most part, as Pet Auto Potion will out-heal most attacks. Just focus on avoiding the mechanics we covered before. Now for the last phase. Occasionally Vellum will disappear and you'll get text on screen that notes Vellum is about to take a deep breath. He will move to either side of the screen and you'll need to rush over to that area in order to avoid a full map clear. This is made a lot easier if you have a visible debuff on Vellum, as it will appear over the floor where he's about to pop up, giving you some warning to stay or move to the other side of the map if you don't see it. Once he initiates his attack, it will suck you towards the blast, so you'll want to keep moving towards the wall to avoid getting sucked in and dying. This is essentially free damage if you manage to move to the correct location, and that's really all you need to know. Once you clear Chaos Vellum, you will receive pieces of destruction which can be exchanged for the Fafnir weapon as a piece of the CRA set. Also, as always, you get another juicy boss crystal for additional mesos. When this video helps you stomp this glorified garden snake, like and subscribe.